Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Swami Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvajakacharya Asatarasita Shri Srimad Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Swami Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvajakacharya Asatarasita Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavana Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sharma Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sri Mathura Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Bangame Ki Jai, Yamuna Me Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, The Status Quo, Chapter 2, Remembrance of Lord Krishna, text number 19. Krishna Bhavabhi Nanu Rajasuye Chadyasya Krishnam Prashata Api Siddhi Yam Yogina Samsprayayanti Samyak Yogena Ka Tat Raham Sahita Krishna Bhavadbir Nanarajasuye Chadyasa Krishnam Visatopi Siddhi Yam Yogina Samsprihayanti Samyag Yogena Kastad Vraham Saheta Krishna Bhavadbir Nanarajasuye Chadyasa Krishnam Visatopi Siddhi Yam Yogina Samsprihayanti Samyag Yogena Kastad Vraham Saheta Drishta Bhavadbir Nanarajasuye Chadyasa Krishnam Vishatopi Siddhi Yam Yogina Samsprihayanti Samyag Yogena Kastad Virham Sahita
Drishta Bhavadbir Nanurajasuye
Drishta Bhavadbir Nanurajasuye
Chaityasya Krishnam Drishatopi Siddhi Yang Yogina Samsprihayanti Samyag
Yam Yogina Samsprihayanti Samyag
Yogena Kastat Vidaham Sahita
Yogena Kastat Virham Sahita
Krishna Bhavadbir Nanurajasuye Chaidyasya Krishnam Dvishatopi Siddhi Yam Yogina Samsprihayanti Samyag Yogena Kastad Viraham Sahita
Drishta Bhavadbir Nanurajasuye
Drishta Bhavadbir Nanurajasuye
Chaidyasya Krishnam Dvishatopi Siddhi
Chadyasa Krishnam Vishatopi Siddhi
Yam Yogina Samsprayanti Samyag
Yogina Samsprayanti Samyag
Yogina Kastad Viraham Sahita
Yogina Kastad Virham Sahita
Drishta Bhavadbir Nanurajasuye Chaidyasya Krishnam Dvishatopi Siddhi Yam Yogina Samsprihayanti Samyag Yogena Kastad Viraham Sahita
Drishta Bhavadbir Nanurajasuye Chaidasya Krishnam Dvishatopi Siddhi
Chadyasa Krishnam Dvishatopi Siddhi
Yam Yogina Samsprihayanti Samyag
Yam Yogina Samsprihayanti Samyag
Yogena Kastad Viraham Sahita
Yogena Kastad Virham Sahita Drishta, it has been seen, Bhavadbir, by your good self, Nanu, of course, Rajasuye, in the assembly of the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharshi Yudhisthira. Chadyasya, of the king of Chaiti, Shishupal. Krishnam, unto Krishna, Tvashata, envying, Api, in spite of, Siddhi, success, Yam, which, Yogina, the yogis, Samsprayanti, verily desire, Samyak, fully, Yogena, by performance of yoga, Ka, who, Tat, his, Viraham, separation, Sahita, can tolerate. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Uddhava talking to Vidura. Translation. You have personally seen how the king of Chaiti, Shishupal, achieved success in yoga practice, although he hated Lord Krishna. Even the actual yogis aspire after such success with great interest by performance of the various practices. Who can tolerate separation from him? Purport. Lord Krishna's causeless mercy was exhibited in the great assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was merciful even to his enemy, the king of Chedi, who always tried to be an envious rival of the Lord. Because it is not possible to be a bona fide rival of the Lord, the king of Chedi was extremely malicious toward Lord Krishna. In this way, he was like many other asuras, such as Kamsa and Jarasandha. In the open assembly of the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, Shishupal insulted Lord Krishna, and he was finally killed by the Lord. But it was seen by everyone in the assembly that a light flashed out of the body of the king of Chedi and merged into the body of Lord Krishna. This means that Chedi Raj achieved the salvation of attaining oneness with the Supreme, which is a perfection most desired by the Jnanis and Yogis, and for which they execute their different types of transcendental activities. It is a fact that persons who are trying to understand the Absolute Truth by their personal endeavors of mental speculation or mystic powers of yoga achieve the same goal as others who are personally killed by the Lord. Both achieved the salvation of merging in the Brahmajyoti rays of the transcendental body of the Lord. The Lord was merciful even to his enemy, and the success of the king of Chedi was observed by everyone who was present in the assembly. Vidura was also present there, and therefore Uddhava referred the incident to his memory. So this is very interesting. There's a king of Vidarbha named Bhishmaka, and Bhishmaka Maharaj had 5 sons, and the eldest of his 5 sons was named Rukmi. And Maharaj Bhishmaka wanted to marry his beautiful daughter Rukmini with Krishna, but the eldest son Rukmi did not agree. So to satisfy his son Rukmi, Maharaj Bhishmaka decided to marry his daughter Rukmini with Chedi Raj, whose name was Shishupal. But Rukmini, although Rukmini had never seen Krishna, but just by hearing about Krishna, she didn't want to marry anyone else except Krishna. So she had a plan. She wrote a letter and had this letter sent to Lord Krishna. And after reading this letter, Krishna decided to satisfy the desire of his devotee. So Krishna and Rukmini arranged for the kidnapping, and during the kidnapping there's a fight, and Krishna defeated all the other princes who wanted to marry this beautiful princess, and Rukmini was defeated in the fight. And because Rukmini had a very envious attitude toward Krishna, Krishna decided to give him the liberation. But Rukmini was the brother of Rukmi, and she pleaded with Krishna to save his brother's life. So instead of actually killing his body, Krishna shaved off patches of Rukmi's hair with his sword. And this is very insulting, and to cut off someone's hair like that for Kshatriyas, that's as good as death. So this is very embarrassing for Rukmi. First of all, he was defeated in the fight, and then his hair was partially shaved off. Lord Balaram was also present there, and Balaram rebuked Krishna because Balaram wanted to please Rukmini. But it so happened that later on, Balaram at a gambling match of chess, he was being cheated by this Rukmi, and Balaram became so angry that he took his club and killed Rukmi with his club. So this Shishupal happened to be the cousin of Lord Krishna. So sometimes in the person's family there are devotees and there are demons. Brother Damodar Prabhu was telling me that his grandfather was a great business magnate, and he was also famous as a dietary crusader who changed McDonald's menu. But he happened to be against the Krishna consciousness movement, and his son was a great devotee, and he was a great kirtan leader in Florida, and he was a very strong devotee. And Lord Damodar's grandfather tried to have his son deprogrammed, but it didn't work because his son was such a strong devotee that no one could budge him from the lotus feet of Krishna and Prabhupada. He was Prabhupada's disciple. So in this same family, there's sometimes demons and devotees, just like Prahlad Maharaj. And in the family of Bhishmaka also, there were great devotees, and there were persons who were envious of Krishna. And this Shishupal, this has a connection with the story of Jai and Vijay being cursed by the four Kumars to come down to the material world. They were cursed to take 3 births as demons who were deadly enemies of Lord Krishna. And the first of the births was as Jai and Vijay. Does anyone here remember what the second births were? Yeah. Ravana and Kumbhakarna. And I also heard that Jagai and Madai were also incarnations of Jai and Vijay. So ultimately, at the Rajasuya sacrifice, when Krishna cut off Shishupal's head with the Sudarshan Shaka, there was a light. It looked like a meteor falling to the earth. And this meteor-like object, everyone saw it merge into the body of Lord Krishna. So it was a very wonderful experience, and it shows that even the enemies of Krishna are very fortunate if they are fortunate enough to be killed by Krishna or by Krishna's devotees. They get liberation. So the many jnanis and yogis are trying to become one with the Lord. And Shishupal achieved the same goals simply by becoming an enemy of the Lord. And not for a single moment was Shishupal out of Krishna consciousness. He was constantly thinking of Krishna 24 hours, but he was thinking of as enemies. It's completely Krishna conscious, but that sort of Krishna conscious, Rupa Goswami describes, is unfavorable. We should become favorable and think of Krishna favorably, not about envy or wanting to kill Krishna, like the Mayavadis have the same attitude of wanting to deny the existence of Krishna. So Krishna's activities, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, they're all divyam, they're all transcendental. And whatever Krishna does is good for all concerned. And to hear this narration about Shishapal, it's a transcendental narration, even though it involves some horrible violence. This violence is pleasing to the devotees. And just by hearing about these pastimes, one's heart is purified. And this narration also reminds me of the story in the Bible. There was a person named Saul who was born in a faithful Jewish family. And this Saul, he was sent to Jerusalem to learn the Jewish law, and later on he returned to his home in Tarsus, which is now in Turkey. And there he heard that there was a group of people who were worshiping Jesus as the coming Messiah, because the Jews also believed that the Lord would send a Messiah. But this Saul could not believe that Jesus was the true Messiah, and he began persecuting the early Christians. This is shortly after Jesus' crucifixion. And one day he was traveling to the city of Damascus, which is in Syria, and he was accompanied by companions. And suddenly there's a great light, and there's a great voice that said, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And Saul said, "Sir, who are you?" And the voice said, "I am Jesus, the one whom you are persecuting. When you go to the city, you will receive instructions there." And Saul was blinded by this light. He lost his eyesight because this light was so blinding. And his companions took him to the city of Damascus. And after 3 days in the city, a disciple of Jesus visited the house where Saul was staying in. And by the association of Jesus' disciple, he became purified. And this disciple laid hands on Jesus and baptized him. And from then on, he was known as Paul. And this Paul became one of the greatest preachers of the gospel of Lord Jesus. He traveled to many countries. So this person who was once a blasphemer, he was blaspheming Jesus, he was blaspheming Jesus' disciples. He became one of the greatest preachers, and he established many preaching centers in many different countries. And finally, when he was in his 60s, he was martyred in Rome because he was ordered to be killed by the Emperor Nero. Any comments or questions? Yeah, Jagannath Prabhu.
Yeah, on this point about the Christians, my question is, can modern Christians be called impersonalists? Because I'm just taking experience from when I was when I practiced Catholicism, but basically everybody in Christianity and Catholicism, they worship like this light, and they think that that's God. So I was So are they impersonalists, or are they personalists, or because they do believe in the personal form of Jesus, and sometimes they say that He's God. So I don't know which one to believe. I don't. How do we approach them in practical setting?
Well, the Bible says Jesus is the Son of God. The Bible never says Jesus is God, and Jesus Himself said, "I am the Son of God." And as far as impersonalism, in the Bible, it's clearly stated that God is a person. He spoke to Moses in the Old Testament in the form of a burning bush, and He also saved Daniel from the den of lions. Daniel was supposed to be killed by the king Nebuchadnezzar, and he was thrown in a lion's den. But by God's grace, the super soul was within the heart of the lions, and God dictated to the lions not to hurt this devotee whose name was Daniel. So we learn from the Bible that God saves his devotees. God protects His devotees, and God punishes the miscreants. God punished the Pharaoh. So the word God means controller, and the controller is never impersonal. Do you know of any controller who's not a person?
No, I don't.
Okay, just like this democratic form of government is mostly impersonal, but ultimately at the head of the United States government, there's President Joe Biden, who is the person who's the ultimate controller in the United States. So despite so much bureaucracy and impersonal dealings, ultimately the government is controlled by persons. And we also see that when Shishapal was deriding Krishna in so many ways, indirectly Shishapal was praising Krishna, and Krishna heard him patiently. And there's a nice painting done by Jadharani in the Krishna book, where Shishapal is very angry. He's holding a sword. He's blaspheming Krishna, and Krishna's sitting on the throne, and Krishna's just tolerating everything. Krishna's very patient, and Krishna's smiling. And the Kshatriyas who are present, most of the kings present there, they were ready to kill Shishapal. They were grabbing their swords and clubs. And Shishapal also had his sword. And when Shishapal was abusing the kings who were present there, Krishna decided to mediate this situation by cutting off Shishapal's head. Jai Sisi Gornatai. Yes.
So you're speaking about Krishna kidnapping Rukmini, and yesterday I was reading about Arjuna kidnapping Subhadra, and how he was dressed as the sannyasi, and he couldn't stop thinking about Subhadra like all of the time. And so how, for a conditioned soul like myself, here it could sound like a material, lusty desire that Arjuna wants to kidnap this Subhadra, and he's always thinking about her. So how can I understand this properly?
Well, this pastime is non-material, and Arjuna was not affected by any material desires, because do you know who Subhadra actually is? Krishna's sister, and not only that, but she's the goddess of fortune. So the goddess of fortune is completely transcendental. Her beauty is not material, and Arjuna's desire was never affected by lusty desires like the conditioned souls. Father Dharma, you had a comment or question?
Yeah, Prabhu, I was just wondering, sometimes when Krishna punishes the miscreants, sometimes it's a little hard to understand, like, with the washerman, he cut off his head pretty much instantaneously, or with Ramaharshana Sutta, he killed him instantaneously. But and then there's personalities who are super envious and causing many problems, and sometimes he doesn't kill them, but he punishes them in a certain way, like cuts their hair, or allows them to continue doing so many things. I was wondering if you could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. For Krishna, there is no duality. Krishna doesn't see someone as enemies or friends, because all jiva souls are originally part and parcel of Krishna. And Shishapal, eventually he was returned to his original position as a personal servant of Krishna. Anybody else have comments? Pradanga Prabhu?
The discussion reminded me of who actually is considered a Shaktivesh avatar. Like some Christians, they consider Jesus to be a Shaktivesh avatar.
Yes.
But Prabhupada, Prabhupada never actually said that Jesus was a Shaktivesh avatar, did he?
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said that Lord Jesus Christ was a Shaktivesh avatar, as well as Muhammad was also Shaktivesh avatars.
Okay, because so how are we to understand then that the position of a Shaktivesh avatar, when also Jesus said he was the Son of God, and what's even more importantly emphasized is that what he says next is that you are also sons of God, which is putting him on an equal platform with the jiva souls. And we know that Prabhupada said that Jesus was a pure devotee of the Lord, and that we worship Jesus, and actually as a pure devotee of the Lord, he was, when Srila Prabhupada saw pictures or Jesus on the cross, he would say he didn't like them because he said they killed their own spiritual master. You know, they're too gruesome. It's too gruesome.
Right.
A meditation. And so I'm just wondering, I also remember reading about Lord Parashuram as being sometimes a direct incarnation of the Lord and sometimes a Shaktivesh avatar. So it's a little confusing to me now, between pure devotees of the Lord, Shaktivesh avatars, and avatars.
Well,
It seems like sometimes the lines are being crossed there, and what is a proper, clear understanding in terms of Jesus in our preaching?
According to Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Parshuram is described as Vishnu Tattva, whereas Jesus is Jiva Tattva, as well as Muhammad was also Jiva Tattva. So we're all sons of God, but Jesus was the good son of God who was never influenced by Maya. Yes, Magadari Prabhu.
To Radha Damodar's question about killing the demons, Maharaj was mentioning that was discussed here in the verse, that nobody can be an actual rival of Krishna. So, yeah. And then Maharaj also made the comment that, which is kind of a lighthearted comment, that Krishna's killing of Shishupal was a type of mediation, because they were having an argument about who should be the one to be worshipped first. So he mediated the situation by killing Shishupal, because they were having an argument, because they wanted to do the Rajasuya sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then I wanted to mention my point. I just read a really cool letter that Prabhupada wrote to one of his disciples, appreciating how Krishna, or how she was feeling very compassionate to the demons who would get sent down and killed by the Lord and things like that. So there's a nice letter where Prabhupada responds to a feeling, appreciating a feeling of compassion even for the demons. So maybe that is connected a little bit, maybe.
Very good. It's time for the Sankirtan Festival. Thank you for patiently hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Okay, so we'll read the scores for the week of April 29th for the pleasure of their lordships, Sri Sri Gaurnitai, Lord Nrsimhadev, Tulsi Maharani, the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, and His Holiness Dhanavir Goswami, and all the assembled devotees. So this week we had 2 book distributors with 11 small books and one. Well, it wasn't just 2 book distributors when we were out there. We did it. We phoned a friend, and we had like 10 or 7 or something book distributors at the Harinam guest appearance. So 11 small books, 1 medium book, 2 Maha big books, for a total of 7.25 book points. Magadari Prabhu, Haribo. And in first position, 4 small books, 10 medium books, 14 big books, and 16 Maha big books, for a total of 53 book points. Rishi Kumar Das. Hare Krishna. And that makes the RVC total 15 small books, 11 medium books, 14 big books, 18 Maha big books, for a total of 60.25 book points. Rupanuga Vedic College Ki Jai. So a highlight was there's a cool Indian guy at the temple who got Mahotsa was encouraging me to try to give him some books, and this Indian guy, I was showing him the books, and he said, "You gave me a whole set of these last time." I was saying, "Well, I don't know." I kept asking anyways, and so then he gave like $50, and I gave him like a whole new set of just whatever he didn't have. So he took a lot. Yeah, I think that okay. Srila Prabhupada, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.
Yeah, so I got to take a walk with Jagannath Prabhu, and then I also took another walk with Bhakti Joseph, and it was in the neighborhood over here. It's nice to go out in the daytime. People are out and about, and you can preach to them. Yeah, I was just talking about how everybody loves monks. So, and we were there, and we were walking down the street, and then there was this guy, and he was like hollering at us, and he's like, "You guys monks?" And he just was making all this stuff, and then yeah, I started talking to him, and I showed him the books, and they really liked it, and they gave us a 20, and I gave him Bhagavad Gita hardback and some whatever small books I had. And maybe we'll see him soon. They live just a couple streets away. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.